right now he's overweight. So I met him when he was about maybe 30 or 40 pounds lighter. Okay? So that's when I met Les Brown, about close to 25 plus years ago. And Jay Clark, Ali, you know, a group of us, he used to come and do seminars, and by the time he'd get back to Detroit, people were calling him, telling him, guess what, you were fired up in New York. And he's like, really? He said, they said, yeah, we got the tape. And before he even got to Detroit, the tapes were being dubbed already. Okay? And so he's from way back then, and he allowed us to do that back then. Today, you have to sign contracts, you can get sued and all of that kind of stuff. But Les has always been a person who's always reaching back. He's always reaching back to pull individuals up. And I'm not sure how many of you are part of his Speakers Bureau, but he's making a major impact all throughout the globe with individuals all around the country. And it just hit me that we have the 1209 group here. 1209? 1209, where's 1209? Henry and Frank back there, okay? And then of course we have the basement crew here. But Les Brown, Les Brown is so powerful, he's so awesome. Every time I have a challenge and I say, look Les, I'm in a crossroads, I don't know what's going on. He'll always say, you know, well, I told you what to do before, you should have a book, you should have tapes, but you got other people making money off of you. And I think the real words he usually say, that you allowing companies to prostitute you or something like that, you know, by not marketing my own stuff. But the key here is Les is so phenomenal. And what I like to do right now, and he beat cancer, and he kicked cancer to the curb, and he kicked everything else to the curb. He's looking good. I just smelled him. He's still smelling good after an hour and a half with the guys, and he was showing off with the men up in here. They didn't even want to leave. But what I'd like for you to do, everybody that have a situation, you have a bad attitude, you have cancer, you have diabetes, whatever it is, just know that it's possible. Yeah. Just know that it is what? Possible. Let's give it up for Les Brown.
Thank you very much. Thank you, you're very kind. Thank you so much. And let's give a round of applause to Lorraine Brown Watkins. Give her a round of applause. And let's give a round of applause to Kenny, who needs our prayers. Just give it with Lorraine. Give her a round of applause. It is a pleasure to be here. I've known Lorraine for a long time. As a kid, she was my babysitter, and she never, ever abused me. She's always very kind to me. She never spanked me unnecessarily. And I'm so appreciative of that. I'm really excited about being here. Ali, I've known. Ali, give Ali a round of applause, please. Judge a man not by what he does, but what he does that he doesn't have to do.
Yes.
He didn't have to be here. He could say, hey, tell Les, my spirit is there, I've had an operation dealing with the liquid seed. But he showed up because he's a serious person. Give him a round of applause. And give yourselves a round of applause for being here. I want to share with you some things, and my goal is to give you a perspective of where I am and what I feel that's possible for you. I want you to think about your goals and what you want to achieve. And I want to give you something. And the reason I want to give you something is because of the fact that last year at this time I would not have been able to do this. Last year at this time I had to revisit with cancer. I beat it 17 years ago. And last year at this time my PSA was over 1,850. That stands for prostate specific antigen. And cancer metastasized to 7 areas of my body. And it had eaten 40% of my T1 vertebrae. Well, I got excited when they told me 7, because 7 is my lucky number. And when I started laughing at the doctor, at Florida Hospital, he said, "Are you in denial?" And I said, "No." He said, "Did you hear what we just said? Cancer's metastasized in 7 areas of your body." I said, "I feel like Mother Teresa." She said, "Lord, I know you know how much I can bear. I just wish you didn't have so much confidence in me." And so it was a journey of dealing with that. It was just a project. But I believe that I was spared, that God gave me his grace for a reason. Yes. And that reason I saw manifested when I spoke with the man of honor this evening. Men, as I looked at them, that I was inspired and encouraged because of the fact that they reflected to me and reminded me of this work that I do. And when I look at you, you remind me of myself. You're not here by accident. You're here for a reason. How many of you know people who should be here? Raise your hands, please. And I'll tell you why they're not here. Because I'm not the one for them. See, you and I are cut from the same cloth. We're branches of the same tree. Everything that I'm going to say, it's already a part of you. Everything that I share with you, I'm going to only confirm and validate that which is in your heart of hearts. Yes. And many times we need to be reminded of what we know. I only attract millionaires or millionaires in training. So give yourself I used to go to workshops and seminars and see Zig Ziglar, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Jim Rohn. These are guys who have since passed, and Charlie Tremendous Jones. And in watching them, and many times I was the only one there in the audience, I used to think about how important the value of giving people messages, Alberto, that will help them to get a larger vision of themselves. The person that I love most in terms of giving one a larger vision of themselves is my mother. I'm adopted. Born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. And I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, "All that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother." And I saw a sign once that said, God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And what got me in this area, that I wanted to be able to make a difference in life, I want to be able to take care of my mother. I want you to think about 3 goals you want to achieve. Because I'm on a mission. One of the goals that I have is training 100,000 voices of hope. I believe now more than ever, we need voices outside of politics, outside of religion, both of which I believe polarize and divide people. 100,000 voices. That'll give people hope, and there's hope in the future that gives you power in the present. There's something wrong in America, land of opportunity, when more people have committed suicide than been killed in car accidents. Yes. Something's wrong with that, but the suicide rate has increased, Kennedy, by 40%. Something's wrong with that. And I submit to you, one of the goals, and some of you know who you are, as I speak, what I'm doing, I'm living your dream. And my goal, let us say together, there's no success without successors. How many of you know people who need hope right now? Raise your hands, please. And I'm going to share with you some strategies on how you can be a messenger of hope. I've learned a variety of things, and I'm going to show and share with you in the limited time that I have how you can grow your business, because you are the voice of your business. How you can begin to attract A players in your business. How you can begin to earn more money than you can ever begin to imagine. When I look at my life right now, no one could have told me, given my circumstances, that both my parents stood up right now and said, "Hello, son," I would not know either one. No one could have told me being labeled educable, mentally retarded, and put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade, and failing again in the 8th grade, that I would be living the life that I'm now living and teaching others how to do. I'll never forget Mr. Washington, that I'll talk with him tomorrow. He's blind from glaucoma now. He said, "Young man," I went in his room. He said, "Go to the board and work this problem out for me." I said, "I can't do that, sir." And he says, "Why not?" I said, "I'm not one of your students, sir." He said, "Look at me." I said, "Yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow." I said, "I can't, sir." And the other students started laughing, saying, "He's DT. He's a twin. His brother's name is Wesley. His brother's smart, but he's DT. He said, what's DT? He's a dumb twin. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me, Harold. He said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that was a turning point in my life. That's one of the reasons that I'm committed to training people what I learned. Because I needed to know at the time that I was coming here with Ali and Lorraine and early supporters of me when I was not known in this area. I needed to know that if what I teach doesn't work, could I, with no college education, could I, with no corporate experience, could I establish myself as an intellectual resource and have corporate America reach over people with PhDs and MBAs and hire me? At that time I wanted $1,000 an hour, to hire me to come in and teach them how to do something I've never done. At that time I was traveling around the country and we were selling the Dick Gregory Bahamian diet. Right. I remember going to the Salvation Army and getting a big suit, size 56. I wore a size 42. And I would come into a meeting holding the can and say, look at me, my clothes just hanging off. Let me tell you something, I'm in here. You know, how many have moments in your life you've been temporarily and say, raise your hand, please? How many of you have gone through life and made some mistakes in your life? Raise your hands, please. How many of you have somebody going through some tough times and you said something to them, you shared something with them, and it made a shift in their thinking? Raise your hands, please. How many of you have a passion for helping people? Raise your hands, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm living your dream. And many of you out here who should be holding a microphone should be on the stage someplace. And my goal is to train people how to do that. So it doesn't take you as long as it took me. I spent thousands of dollars. I didn't have anybody to look at who looked like me as a role model to say it was possible. I didn't have that. I didn't have the luxury of that. But I was seated in an audience, and something happened to me. I was seated in an audience, and Mike Williams, who's my mentor to this day, he said to me, Ali, Lesron, you can do more than just speak in our community. Lesron, you can speak for corporations. At that time, I was a disc jockey in Columbus, Ohio. I was walking down the hall, WVKO radio station, with a dashiki on, a big afro and some jeans and tennis shoes. And he said, Lesron, you can do more than just get a paycheck. At that time, I was earning around $80,000 a year. In the early 1980s, that was a lot of money. A lot of money. And so I could not see what he saw in me. I just really saw myself as a disc jockey. I saw myself as an entertainer, really. And this guy had a vision for me. I want you to write some things down. Write this down. Get somebody in your life who can see what you can't see. He saw something for me that I couldn't see for myself at that time. And what he did was, I called him a few months ago. I said, Mike, what made you, 14 years, what made you keep on saying to me that I can do more than what I was doing? And he said, I thought it was my duty to stay in your ear. And I'm going to tell you, as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to tell you over and over again, you have something special. You have greatness within you. I can tell you, and I don't even know you, but based upon my own experience, that you can do more than you can ever begin to imagine. I want you to think about your personal goal. My first personal goal was to buy my mother a home. That was important to me. Mama worked on Miami Beach. She cleaned homes, and she kept children. And we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept. She cooked for these families, and these were kind and generous people. They said, maybe whatever food is left over, you can pack it up and take it home to those children that you have adopted. My mother could bake, too. My mother could bake a sweet potato pie so good you couldn't eat it with your shoes on. You had to take your shoes off so you could wiggle your toes. And I used to say, Mama, she said, what is it, Leslie? When I become a man, I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home just like this. How many of you have somebody special you'd like to do something for? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I'm going to show you how you can do that. And then I did that. I did that, and I was able to take care of Mom. I'm going to tell you about that experience. I want you to think about your financial goal. I want you to think about a life beyond money. I want you to think about your financial freedom number. You need to know what that is. I tell you, it's a good feeling to be debt-free. Hear me? I'm telling you. Not to owe anybody something. I'm telling you, it's a good feeling, and you want to do that. The older you get, the more money you need. I never wanted to get rich. All I ever wanted to do is get comfortable. How many of you want to be comfortable? Raise your hands, please. Now I realize in order to get comfortable, you got to get rich. I used to be so broke, I'd walk past a bank and trip the alarm. Creditors would call the house, and my children would answer the phone and say, "My daddy say he ain't home." And let me tell you something, fellas. You know, the people say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves. Let me tell you something, fellas. Even if you're as homeless as I am, you got some money, women will find something cute on you. Oh, baby, he's got eyelashes like Denzel Honey. Red Fox said money can't buy you happiness, but it can make a big down payment. I want you to think about that number. And whatever that number is, I want you to multiply that 100 times. See, I've found that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. No. Most people fail in life because they did what I did. I aimed too low and hit. That's why I didn't do what I'm doing for 14 years. I didn't believe that this life that Mike Williams saw for me was available to me. I was suffering from possibility blindness. Now I want you to think about your legacy. At this stage of my life is to train and teach people. What took me years to learn, thousands of dollars, going to seminars and workshops and reading hundreds of books. I've created a system that will allow you to maximize your potential in a fraction of the time that it took me. How many of you like learn how to do that? Raise your hands. Good. And trust me, the older you get, the more money you need. One sickness can wipe out a fortune.
That's right.
One sickness. I never appreciated having money until my mother became sick. And I went to Jackson Memorial Hospital, and the lady, the receptionist, she didn't say, "Can I help you?" She didn't say, "Hello." She didn't say, "Is there anything that I can do for you?" She just asked, "What kind of insurance do you have?"
That's right.
I said to her, "Kitty, she has Les Brown Unlimited. Give my mother what she needs." I resigned from the Ohio legislature. I went back to Miami because my brothers and sisters wanted to put mom in a nursing home. And I said, "No." They said, "We knew you would say that. We polled and we checked out and interviewed and found the best nursing home." I said, "Let me tell you something. I don't care anything about that. It's not a problem. How can one woman raise 7 children who couldn't take care of themselves, but 7 grown people couldn't take care of one woman?" What's the problem with that? I said, "She's not going to a nursing home." And they weren't being mean. They weren't being unappreciative. They didn't believe that they had the capacity to take care of her. Write this down. Become resourceful. See, what we do, how we show up in life, is a result of how we see ourselves. Here's a good quote to write down and remind yourself. People don't live life as it is. They live life as they are. People don't live life as it is. They live life as they are. And so, what was the difference? Raised in the same circumstances, bathed in the same water, ate at the same table. What's the difference? People raised in the same circumstances and end up dramatically different. How have you ever seen that? Raise your hands, please. Okay. None of my brothers and sisters have ever come to my seminars or workshops. And I want to say something to those of you. How many entrepreneurs here? Raise your hands, please. Entrepreneurs. Great. How many of you have a job? Raise your hands, please. Very good. The reason you're here is because you're not mentally fit to work for somebody for the rest of your life. Nope. You're going to take care of that. Give yourselves a round of applause. And the reason that I believe that's different for me, and that's why I applaud Kenny and Lorraine for the work that they're doing. There are 3 things I want to share with you. There's several, 17 basic things, but I want to share, drill deep on 3. Number 1, mindset transformation. I want you to write down yes@lesbrown.com. I'm giving this to you as a gift. You're going to get a series of videos, PBS specials that I created and speakers that I'm training. And you're going to get a presentation that I've done in the Georgia Dome called Let's Not Overtell You When, where I'm speaking to over 80,000 people. As you watch that, it's going to change you at the subconscious level. As you watch it, it's going to create a shift in your thinking. Yes, at lesbrown.com. Write that down. And you want to email me tonight because I will be doing it. My staff is waiting, and they will start sending them out tonight, and then they'll be through their stop tomorrow because I've got to go to Malaysia, and they've got to create a new shift, focus on where I'm going to be next week, leaving on Tuesday next week for Malaysia and Singapore, doing a tour with Sir Richard Branson. Yeah. Trust me on this. Yeah. When you travel with billionaires, it's a different kind of reality. Trust me on this. And what I'm doing right now, I see that in your future. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, I'm ready to play a bigger game. Here's something else. I'm going to sing you this, and here's something else that I want you to do. Write this down. Invest in yourself. Yep. Here's a quote to keep in mind. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. I have a series called Choosing Your Future. And you want information on how to get that. You're going to get a special discount. I'm not going to give you that. I want you to invest in that. Choosing your future. It's possible, it's necessary, it's you, it's hard, it's worth it, it's done. 6 lectures. When I did that, I was sleeping on the floor of the Penobscot building. When I did that, in Detroit, Michigan, bathing in the sink down the hall, hiding in the closet from the janitorial staff. When I did that, I was pursuing my dream. If you talk to the security and the janitorial staff and ask, will Larry DeAngie and Alexander Williams and Les Brown, will they make it? They'll say, no, they're sleeping on the floor of their office. No, they won't make it. How many of you know when you have a goal and you have a dream, many times you fall on hard times? Raise your hands, please. When you get on an airplane, what do they say before you take off? Fasten your seatbelt. Because you're going to experience some turbulence before you reach a comfortable altitude. Think it not strange when you have a dream that you'll face some fiery furnaces, some objections, that you'll have some things that have happened to you. People you thought would be there with you won't be there with you. Start having problems in your relationships because you're growing and they're not. I remember being in Chicago. This couple used to always come and see me, and she was on one side of the room and he was on the other. And I said, hey man, why don't you see me with your wife? He said, she left me because I don't have anything. I said, whoa. I'm sorry to hear that. And I was walking toward her, and she said, I heard what he said. He said, I left him because he didn't have anything. She said, I didn't. I left him because he didn't want anything. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever you're with, you earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of what they earn. Write this down, upgrade your relationships. When I heard that, you got to upgrade your relationship. I got every broke person out of my life. Trust me on this. My mama said, if you run around with 9 broke people, I guarantee you, you'll become number 10. I'm telling you, your success in life is directly related to your closest relationships. You got to look at your relationships and ask the question, what is this relationship doing to me? Let me tell you something, Kenny and Lorraine, they can call me anytime. You know why? Because I know I can count on them if I call them. Now I want you to ask this question to yourself. Who should I count on and who should I count out? See, there are always people in your life who are always there when they need you. Come on now. Yes, sir. Write this down. Don't make somebody a priority who's made you an option. Say that again. Don't make somebody a priority who's made you an option. You want people in your life that you can count on. You want people in your life who will be your, what I call, bread and butter people. If you call them 2 o'clock in the morning and say, I've got a flat tire, they will ask, where are you? If they're not a bread and butter person, they will ask, what time is it? If Dr. Marcia Harris called me, I'm coming. Why? Because I know I can count on her. You need to know who can you count on. Now, this is no time to be around flaky people. People who don't want anything. People are not striving and growing. Why? Because it rubs off on you. Studies indicate when you have positive, motivated people in your life, it will influence your potential by 41% of getting out of your comfort zone and going to another level. That's what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Having serious relationship and coming out from among people who don't want anything. People who will drain you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You can be broke by yourself. You don't need any help. Frankie Crocker said it's better to be alone than to wish you were. Y'all remember Frankie? Come on, now. So as you look at your goals and look at your dreams, let us say together, it's possible. It's possible. Say it again with conviction. It's possible. Ladies and gentlemen, as you look at yourself, as you look at your goals, you look at your dreams, look at your business, whatever business that you're in, you're feeding your mind every day with materials and things that will remind you it's possible is most important. You can't do it enough. Faith comes by what? Hearing and hearing and hearing. Because you cannot kill the negative thoughts in your mind. You can overpower them, but they're like weeds. They don't die. They'll come back. As soon as you stop listening to positive material, as soon as you stop reading, as soon as you start associating with people who don't have goals and dreams, as soon as you let your guard down and expose your mind to the pollution of this world and be more concerned about a championship than about your dream, it's scandalous for you and your future and the people you care about. You got to protect yourself. There are people who are more concerned about the game tomorrow night than their own dreams. More concerned about the next episode of Scandal, which is a scandal in the way they live their lives. There are people whose only goal and dream, lady I heard on a plane, she said, it took her a year to save enough money to get a tattoo for her husband. A tattoo. Find yourself. To be a victim of external influence. In prison, you can't write on the walls. You can't draw art. So they're bored. They write on each other. I've had so many men go to jail. They get out, and people see the tattoos, and they think it's a fashion statement. Because it's easier, Shaggy, to sit down and let somebody make a mark on your body than to be actively engaged and make a mark with your life. Wow. It's easy. Yeah. You can't move around when somebody's putting a tattoo on you. You got to sit still. And it hurts.